I thought for a while if I wanted to share the story or not, because I wanted to take some time to process what my motive for sharing the story would be. How well I could share the story is a factor. I'm going to go for it, and I hope that it provides some perspective for people and potentially keeps dialogue open with you and people in your life. And maybe you don't have anything necessarily to say about it, but it strikes something that you're aware of internally. Turk and I recently went camping, and during the trip, the first night when we were setting up, we realized then that it was the first time we'd ever gone camping alone, just the two of us. Well, of course, and Simon. And so I did have a blog entry about that so far, but what I didn't do was include something that happened during the camping trip. What I didn't include is that we decided that we were going to go try and drive up and down, and the closest town he saw was actually right past Hat Creek, or was Hat Creek City something or other, I don't know, some little nothing. And so we headed in that direction. And when we got there, it literally was nothing. It was like a little teeny market, no cute little shopping boutique things or anything, not to mention that it was all completely closed. So we get back down the road, and on the way there was two cyclists had been hit, and the man was on the pavement on the side of the road, and he was groaning and rolling over, and there was a woman over him and people checking him out to see to see if he was all right. And then a man walks over from one of the vehicles and says, "Hey, no one has cell service out here. Can you please go and call for help?" So we did that. And long story short, we turned around and came back to see if the guy's sight. We parked on the right hand side of the road, and the wreck was now to our left, and the man was on the side of the road, still in the same spot he was in. There was a woman laying across over top of him, hugging around him, and there was a woman behind her looking like she's consoling her. And so there were more people stopped on both sides of the road now, and still no ambulance. And so Turk got out of the car and crossed the street to talk to some of the people, and to also ensure that someone knows what they're doing, because if he needed CPR, he wanted to know kind of what happened to see if he could be of any help. And he asked a man how he was doing, and he said not good. And then the ambulance started to come. So it was probably about 15 minutes from when we passed to when the ambulance got there. And by the look of the wreckage when we arrived, the accident had just happened. The ambulance flies by, and one man gets out and immediately goes to the victim, who came to his help, or his aid, immediately. Checked for a pulse, and he looked up at the other ambulance operators and said something I didn't hear, and then they were pulling the wife off of him. And then Turkey comes across the street, gets in the car, and starts the car and says that he had passed. And I think that they said something to each other, the ambulance drivers or something, or maybe they told the wife. I couldn't see because I was listening to Turk once he got in the car. But then I looked up, and the wife was facing right at me, and she screamed. The saddest scream I've ever heard in my life. And I immediately started to cry because it was just awful. And I don't know if you've ever experienced anything to where you've witnessed someone in so much pain. It was weird for me because I don't know her, I don't know him, I still don't know his name, and I decided not to look it up and not to be obsessive about it, because really it's not going to change anything the more information that I know. But my heart broke for them and for their family, and I immediately started to cry. And Then I became aware, just hyper aware of how much the news bothers me, because to know that things like that are covered in such a mundane, just spitting out information kind of way, I think is awful. I think if someone is going to report about a person passing, they should report positive things about that person's life, and about their family, and otherwise it should not be on the news. Because I know for myself that I've seen thousands of those stories reported about, and it never moved me to tears. It never made me feel like I was going to throw up. It never made me feel like I wish that I had some kind of superhero power to run over across the street and wrap my arms around that woman and take away her pain. I'd never feel that watching television. My whole point is that we all should appreciate every day and the people in our lives that we care about, and we should make sure that we don't let the petty things override the amazing miracle that life is, and the odds that you have another day are not guaranteed. There's nothing in this life that is worth taking for granted. And as cliche as that sounds, and as cliche as it's become, because of the way that people live their lives day to day, really do take life for granted and take people as if they're disposable, is crazy to me. And it really did touch me, and I just wanted to share that experience because I am trying to build this point of view, or this box, to be as transparent as possible. It's the glass box for a reason, because I'm either in it or on it or behind it or something with my glass box, and so I just wanted to share that experience. I have a million things to say about it, but for sake of just sharing the point and telling you what it was like in the best way possible with my scattered brain. I love the people in your life. Do something every day to share how you feel about someone. It doesn't have to be gushy and mushy. It just has to be intentional. And so, yeah, I learned on that camping trip to be 100% intentional, because today could be the end for any of us. Have a beautiful day.